Okay, so today's video is for all my Shopify store owners out there, Shopify developers, and Shopify experts that work on Shopify stores. Today, I have a story for you about a Shopify store that I've personally worked with that made a huge Shopify Apps mistake. And this mistake almost cost them their entire business. So we are gonna talk about it because I don't wanna see you make that mistake. And as you can see, we got the dress shirt on today because yeah, we mean strictly business today. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's talk about that Shopify apps mistake now. So the big mistake that they were making was that they had a whole bunch of Shopify apps installed and they had no idea why they were using some of them. And all of these apps cost money. They didn't all cost money. Some of them were cheap, but there were a bunch of them that cost a lot per month, like $100 a month here, $150 a month there, $75 a month there. That adds up. Now, this company that I'm talking about right now, there was a point in time where they had lots of investor funding, so they weren't feeling these costs at first. At the time, they were spending a whole bunch of money on ads. I'm talking thousands a month on ads. And then they also had all the Shopify apps. They had a custom Shopify app that I and another developer built for them. So that was adding to the cost as well. And just a whole bunch of other business related costs, right? All that stuff added up. Once the economy got a little tough, and customers started to grip their wallets a little tighter and stopped buying as much of their products, all of a sudden, what was once something they could ignore was now something they're forced to pay attention to. They had to go through the chart of accounts for the business and explain what each thing they're paying for actually means and what it does for the business. And when it came to talk about the Shopify apps, they had no idea why they were paying for certain apps. Like, they couldn't explain to me or to anyone what this app does and why they have it, right? Now, the way that almost destroyed their business was because of all of the misuse of their finances and because of the way they were running the business with all the costs. They ended up having to downsize their team twice, right? That is no small thing. So I don't want to get, sad here, but it's very important to make sure that you know what's going on with the business. Obviously, I can't speak to the other parts of running a Shopify store like customer experience or marketing or whatever. But as far as development and technology is concerned, whatever tools or Shopify apps you're using, you need to have a basic understanding of what they're doing and why you have them. And if you don't, and you can't explain what it does, maybe you don't need it. So that actually leads me into the next thing I wanted to talk about here, which is 3 tips that you can use to help you avoid that situation that the Shopify store I was just talking about is in, or they were in. Okay, so tip number 1, I actually just talked about it, but let's formally introduce the tip. So tip number 1, you need to be able to explain how every Shopify app you have installed helps you make more money. If you can't properly explain how this app helps you make more money, then maybe you shouldn't have it. Either it directly adds to your revenue, like some kind of upsell app or an app that helps you save, whatever the case may be, or it indirectly helps you add to your revenue by improving your customer service, improving like your NPS scores for your e-commerce store, or just improving some kind of back-end process or automating something that's going to help you make more money. Tip number 2, every 3 months, you need to go through all the Shopify apps you have installed and see if you still want them. Other than the Shopify store, I've seen a bunch of other stores from people that are subscribed to this channel. They have a lot of Shopify apps installed that they don't need. For a lot of them, it's just like, a free app they were just trying out, but then they never went back and cleaned it up. You need to make sure you get rid of it, because even if it's a free app and you're not losing money, every app you install in your store could potentially slow your Shopify store, which will lead to you losing money if your customers get annoyed at waiting for stuff to load. So every 3 months, you need to go through and you need to make sure you're deleting apps you are no longer using. And finally, tip number 3, if a Shopify app is just adding a feature to your theme to be shown on the website itself, if you can afford it, you might want to hire a developer to custom code that app into your Shopify store. Now, of course, that's not going to always help you save money because hiring developers can be expensive sometimes. But for some apps, it really doesn't make sense for you to be paying for that every month. It might make a lot of sense to just hire someone, pay them a few $100s or however much they would charge to implement that feature into your Shopify theme so that you don't have to pay for an app to do it. A perfect example is a popular video that I have on this channel called How to Install Shopify Breadcrumbs into a Shopify store, right? So Breadcrumbs is one of those things that helps you with your store navigation. It helps customers find more of your products. There are Shopify apps for Breadcrumbs. Now, they're not expensive. It's like you're paying somewhere between $5 and $10 a month, right? But if you're paying for that every month for a year and then for multiple years, it's like, why are you doing that? You You could have just paid someone to make the breadcrumb for you directly into your theme, or you could have just looked up a video and figured out how to do it yourself. Something like that, if possible, to create directly into your theme with custom code, I highly recommend doing that over using a Shopify app. Now, of course, there are situations where using a Shopify app would make a lot of sense, but there are situations where it doesn't, and I think this is one of them. And there we have it. That was the huge and scary Shopify apps mistake that they made. Now, as long as you're keeping up to date with the Shopify apps you have in your store and you're paying attention, I think you'll be okay. But if you enjoyed this video, I got something for you I know you're gonna like. So we talked about some of the downsides of having a Shopify app, but let's talk about some of the benefits to having them. In this next video, I want you to check out, this is 3 must-have Shopify apps to increase your Shopify store sales. I know you guys wanna make more money with Shopify stores if you're a merchant, or if you're a Shopify developer or expert, you wanna find good apps to recommend to your clients. This video is definitely for you. It should be somewhere along the bottom of the screen. Make sure you click on that. I can't wait to see you in there. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. See you on the next one.